Hi everyone, welcome to my week one reflection. For this reflection, I'm using something very familiar to me, which is Screencast-O-Matic, but I'm also using a Prezi presentation. Of course, I'm familiar with Prezi and I've used it a couple of times, but I can honestly say I'm not a big fan of Prezi because it takes up a lot of time. Fortunately, this week I've just gotten back from Cuba and Jamaica, and so I'm super jet lagged and waking up at 3 a.m. in the morning, so I have some time to spend with making one of these tedious Prezis. So this is going to be the first time that I'm integrating a Prezi presentation into a Screencast-O-Matic. So let's see how it goes. Okay, so the title of my reflection is Best Practices When Using Technology. I think that's something that we talked about a lot in our discussions this week and something that I want to reflect on for a few minutes. Screencast-O-Matic, by the way, is free for up to 15 minutes. So if any of you are interested in trying this technology for your own reflection, I definitely recommend it. Okay, so what did I already know before signing up for this course? I've been an avid fan of technology and I've really embraced technology-enhanced language learning for many years now. And I believe that technology should be used as a supplement to enhance learning, that we shouldn't be using technology to replace any of the teaching that actually goes on in the classroom or any of the activities that go on in the classroom, but that it should be used to enhance the learning instead of replacing it. And I do think that before introducing any types of technology to our students, we need to thoroughly train them on the technologies. So for example, I wouldn't tell my students to go home and make a video, even though it seems something that's so easy that, many millennials know how to make videos, of course, on their phones, but I wouldn't expect them to do this without showing them a couple of examples of tools that they could use for doing that. What did I think went well this week? I thought that all of us made some timely and very informative introductions. It was a really good time to get to know each other's educational backgrounds as well as where we've taught and our current context right now in our teaching situations. It seems like it's a very educated group, with most people having received their MA in Applied Linguistics or TESOL, and many people having doctorates already in the field. So I'm really interested in learning from all of you guys. I think that we engaged well in the discussions, both in the forum as well as in the introductions. And then most of all, I've really been paying attention to Sandy's social presence because, as I mentioned in my introduction, I'm going to be delivering my own online program in an MED TESOL program here at the University of Guam. And as a teacher, I really want to know, what should I do when I am administering an online course? So I think that Sandy has shown a really good example of how she's been present and really been following our discussions and been engaging with us, even though there's no face-to-face interaction. I think whenever you use a new technology, as I just mentioned, you really need to instruct the students how to use the technology. So one thing that I've done in the past, both in my flipped classroom and in blended classes that I've been teaching, is I like to spend at least a daily or a weekly 5-minute introduction about different sites or different types of technologies that I like or that I would like for them to experiment with when completing some of the assignments. Not only do I open up the app or open up the site and show them how to sign up, but I also show them some examples of works that have been done using those different websites. So for example, before I would ask students to do Screencast-O-Matic videos like this one, I would show them some of my examples or other examples that I might find on YouTube. Make sure that you offer praise and encouragement when you're getting students to do the new technology. And then, of course, make yourself available to meet with them one-on-one to help them get over those hurdles of trying to learn a new technology. Because I think we can all attest to the fact that it is a really steep learning curve when we're not familiar with the new technology, but our teacher wants us to master it within a short period of time. So the best thing about technology, and the reason why I'm really excited about doing my online course, is that technology gives us a lot of options. And in part of the discussions this week, I really like that, especially in, I think it was Amber's and in, oh, who was it? I think I took some notes here. Livia. We talked a lot about how we're kind of old school when it comes to teaching and the different activities that we like. And that got me to thinking a lot about how, well, you can be old school and like those traditional types of activities, but you could be new school as well too by integrating technology just to boost those things that you already do so well in the type of old school context. I think it was Livia who mentioned that she liked, cutting up strips of paper and having students to arrange those types of activities, and I love those things as well too. And I haven't replaced those types of activities with technology. But what I would do is I would use technology to warm students up, or to have them do an assessment, or to have them watch videos or find images to supplement whatever lesson that I would be doing with that type of old school activity. So this has been really key to me, and is going to form the basis of this reflection of how it's okay to be old school, but we should see technology as our friend and something that we could easily use to supplement whatever traditional lessons we might have. So I just want to talk a little bit about the 4 different language skills and ways that we can mix traditional teaching methods with some more technological teaching methods. So I've divided the next point of my Prezi into the 4 skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And I'll talk a little bit about some of my favorite technologies, about how to make it a little bit more interactive with students when we're teaching the 4 skills. By doing this, I definitely don't think the 4 skills should be taught in isolation. I think that integrated courses are always the most successful. Currently, I'm not doing language teaching, but I'm doing teacher training, ESL teacher training. So I'm training other teachers to teach ESL. So these are some different methods and different strategies that I tell my student teachers to embrace. And I want to share some of these with you guys. So listening is the first one, and I think we all feel a little bit happy when we see some of these images, when we see the tape player, one of my favorites back in the day. Of course, CDs replace that. Watching VHS tapes, and then replacing that, of course, would be the DVDs. So these were some of the more traditional ways of teaching listening. But these days, thanks to technology, there's so many new resources that we can use. We have different podcasts and vodcasts that are available online. And here's a link to different ones from the British Council. And I read from a lot of your introductions that you've been actively involved with the British Council, some of you, and have even done some of your CELTA or Delta preparation courses through them. There's different listening libraries, and of course there's always different types of authentic listening exercises like English Central, lyrics training, and my favorite, TED Talks. So then we move on to speaking, and again I'll look at some traditional methods and then how we can combine it with technology. So for speaking, here's the microphone, and I think it was Catherine who was talking about how she got her students to build up their confidence with using the microphone. And even though they might have been reluctant to use it at the beginning, they developed more confidence and were eager to practice with it later. So this is a more traditional method. We can have students attend an English club. We can ask them to do interviews or things of people in the community if they're in an ESL environment. But we can mix it up a little bit by using technology. There's lots of pronunciation practices online now. And of course, there's so many different social networks and different types of video conferencing opportunities that are out. Here's just a couple of them. I also think that like voice Facebook Messenger is a good option if you're able to arrange some different types of friendships between native speaking and non-native speakers. Okay, moving on to reading. Traditionally, we just read the books. We had paper-based dictionaries. I remember that someone was talking about how the dictionary is one of her favorite best practices right now. And I remember, I forget who it was, but they said that their Echo Dot, when Alexa was around to answer a question about her son's vocabulary word that he wasn't familiar with. And so those are all great, these new dictionaries that have replaced the paper dictionaries that I think we all grew up with. Other traditional methods are the newspaper, journals. We used to ask students to keep a vocabulary journal. We could have them annotate and take notes as they were doing different types of reading. And these things are all good, but ways that we can supplement them are with different e-reading apps that have the built-in dictionaries. They can monitor the student's speed reading. We have different text readability analysis. So before we would just kind of look at a book and say, oh, I think this might be at my student's level. But now we can actually analyze the discourse and we can see what the difficulty of the vocabulary is and whether or not it's appropriate for our learners. So I love that. I really love going through the corpus and seeing what types of texts that are applicable to my students' different levels. And then, of course, a lot of you have talked about vocabulary builders and flashcards. Voxy and Duolingo are some of them, but I know that Quizlet also allows you to make different types of flashcards for vocabulary. And I used a lot of those. Actually, this semester I was teaching a phonetics and phonology course. And when my students were learning the IPA translation, we used a lot of the Quizlet flashcards. Okay, and then the final skill is writing. And traditionally, students kept a journal. They might have a pen pal. I remember way back in the day, I won't tell you when, but way back in the day when I was in the 7th grade, my teacher was able to arrange a French pen pal for me in France. I was in North Carolina at that time, and I remember thinking, oh my God, that is so cool. My teacher is like the best that she was able to find this pen pal. And I've been going through a lot of my scrapbooks, and I found the letters from my French pen pal. And it seems that I was able to keep in touch with her all the way up through high school. Of course, we lost contact after that. Maybe now, thanks to technology, I should try to track her down with Facebook or something. But these were all different traditional ways. And now, of course, we can make it more interactive with different collaborative writing tools that are available online. The tools that are available in Google Drive is one of my favorite. Students can interact with each other. They can work in groups on one different paper, and it automatically saves all the changes into the Google Drive. So that's pretty special. There's a lot of online writing feedback as well too, such as Paper Rater. This is one of the free services that will go through the student's paper and tell them what kinds of things are good, what kinds of things are bad, and what needs to be improved. Of course, you can never take away the human element, but I think it's a really good start. We have blogs, we have wiki spaces, we have Wikipedia. The list goes on and on and on when it comes to writing and getting students to improve their writing. So these were just some of the things that I was thinking about this week with old school meets new school as far as technology is concerned. And I think there's not really anything else on this topic that I want to know more about, but I'm just really excited to see what weeks 2 through 6 offer. And I'm really excited to learn more from all of you. Okay, thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to hearing your reflections as well too. Okay, take care from Guam. Bye-bye.